future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Catherine Gray.
Welcome to Live, Love, Thrive. It's brought to you by, of course, 360karma.com. And thank you for tuning into our Women's Empowerment Hour. Today we have two fearless trailblazers as our guests. Later in the show, we're going to have Sher Pasquini, who is the head of employee relations for the largest NGO in the world, which is WorldVision International. She oversees more than 46,000 employees globally and has traveled to more than 50 countries herself, including Afghanistan and North Korea. So we will be talking with her about her incredible travels later in the show. But first, we have the very first female Latin American GM for Honda in the country. Please welcome Carolyn Olavarria. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are
Good to
you?
see you, Catherine. Thank you for having me.
You bet. You bet. So very impressive. You're the first Latin American woman to be a GM at Honda in the United States.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Yeah.
That's cool, right?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's been a long road, and it's
well, 15 years, right?
just about, and it's a fantastic honor. I'm humbled.
But now you've been in this position for 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
correct.
it took you 10 years to get to where you are.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
know a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, right? No doubt. I mean, that's a tough industry.
It is. Any industry, I think, is difficult.
Yeah.
But it's
I don't know.
definitely-
Automotive, I think, is like really male dominated.
It's very right. I was going to say it's definitely much more male-dominated industry than most.
Oh yeah.
And it's been a struggle, but it's also been a great ride.
Yeah.
So
well, anytime you succeed at something that's a struggle, then it's a great ride. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, you got to
Absolutely.
where you were maybe wanting to go or hoping to go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you started off in sales.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I started selling cars and moved on up through sales management and finance management and honed my skills, so to speak, and have learned the other departments in the store. Besides sales, there's parts and service as well. And it's a real unit. You know, that functions together, and it's really been a great learning experience and my proudest achievement.
I would think that this is what makes you a good general manager is that you have been through all of it. Like you've done the sales, you've done the finance, you know.
It definitely,
Yeah.
It would be difficult, I would think, to step into it without having had that experience because you don't know, you can't have the empathy for the employee that's actually doing the task.
Right.
So.
But I bet you some people have just stepped into it. They probably have come from some.
It could be,
Yeah.
it's definitely, there is some nepotism in the business. And, but I think it's going away.
Yeah.
And even whatever is left over, it's a different generation and the business is very different in terms of the internet and the social media aspect of it. So it's really evolved a tremendous amount.
Yeah, more people are buying online.
Absolutely, for sure.
What I think is impressive, is not only are you the first Latin American woman that's a GM for Honda, but what's really impressive is that out of 1,100 dealerships they have around the country, you were number 1,100 when you started here in L.A.
That
you
is
came from
correct.
New York to L.A.
That's
to
right.
take over this last in place, bankrupt, closed dealership. So you really started from scratch.
We did.
And took it in 5 years to the top 25 in the country.
That's correct.
That's what's impressive.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. I think that's more impressive than my own,
I mean,
career.
they're both impressive. But,
Thank you.
It's interesting because they say research shows that companies that have women in their management team are more profitable. And so, you know what? You're like proving that theory.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. We definitely have a lot of our top management is female. And
At your dealership.
at my dealership,
Yeah.
yes. And
Well, I'm sure you saw to that.
and to a degree,
It pays to have a female GM.
to a degree, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I do seek to really look for women and add them to this great business that I love so dearly, and it's been so wonderful to myself and to my family and my friends.
Yeah.
And I want to give women the opportunity into seeing the car business or the automotive industry as a viable career path.
That's great.
As opposed to the traditional ones that where women are usually directed towards.
Right,
So
right.
a lot of our top female leadership, we have a female controller, we have a female service BDC manager, I have female technicians, female
my gosh, that's
salespeople.
great.
Yeah. Women run the world, like Beyonce says, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the interesting thing is I was just reading that only 7% of the management of any dealership in the country are women. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's and that's the same in a lot of industries, technology, politics.
Sure. And considering we sell about 17 million automotive units retail in the country for the year, that's a really small piece of that puzzle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But hopefully it'll evolve into bigger and better things.
Well, that's why I'm doing this show,
on,
so that
sure.
we can say, hey, let's change this.
Yes.
Let's step up. And how are we going to change it? And one of the ways is by putting women in positions of influence like yourself, because then you change it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want people to see me not so much as whatever struggles I've gone through to get here. I want them to see the positive side of it and to
Right.
see there's light at the end of the tunnel and it
Yeah.
can be done.
Yeah.
And it's just how much you want it.
Yeah.
And the opportunities are there, and it's an industry that really is calling for more women, and even as women, we want to buy from women.
I was
we
just
wanna
going to
help
say
women.
that. You just read
Right.
my mind. I was going to say, I think both men and women like to buy from women.
I agree.
I think
agree.
a man wants to buy from a woman and a
Sure.
woman wants to buy from a woman.
Absolutely.
So it's been kind of crazy all these years that these car dealerships haven't recognized that.
Yeah, I don't want to fault the car dealerships so much or the management so much as it's not an industry that's really out there in the public as an industry that has a career path.
Right.
As far as medicine or becoming an attorney or the typical career paths, even architecture or things like that. They're made these career paths, and sales, unfortunately, isn't gilded this career path of like affluence or any kind of importance. Unfortunately, it's kind of like at the bottom of the barrel, and
Right.
it's
Or
sad
women just
because-
don't think about it, you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think men think about it. I don't
Right.
think we as a society think of sales as a great, viable career path, and it's
Right.
really sad because it really is
It's
the
a great
fabric,
one.
really, of
Yeah.
our country. It's
So it's a
entrepreneurship
lucrative-
and sales and
Yeah.
retail, and
maybe that's because most people don't have that capability. It is a gift, wouldn't you say?
it's to a degree it can be taught, but
Yeah.
there is a sense of a talent that has to go along with it.
Right, because they always say in any sales organization, like 20% of the people do
Yes.
80% of the business.
That's actually quite accurate.
Yeah.
That's actually quite accurate.
Yeah.
But I believe that to be in a real business anyway. I don't care
Yeah.
what kind of, it could be in a corporation, it could be in
Yeah,
sales.
any type of business,
Really,
yeah.
I think that 80-20 rule applies across the board.
Yeah,
but,
it does.
It's just, I think sales needs to be seen as more of a viable career path, and
Yeah.
more so even for women.
Right.
So that's hopefully what we'll be doing by chit-chatting about this today.
I know.
Taking
And
a
so
step in that
you
direction.
hire, you have women that are doing sales for
I do,
you
yeah.
and all the various positions. And so one thing that's interesting is that you had mentioned you come from a family of immigrants from
Yes.
Latin America.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
What part?
My parents are from Argentina,
Oh,
born
wow.
and raised. They came here in the mid-'70s, and my grandfather on my mother's side had come before them, and just like I think every immigrant family that comes here, you're looking for a better opportunity and a better way for their family, and it's a different work ethic, I think.
Yeah.
Coming from being an immigrant.
You said you learned your work ethic from your family.
For sure,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, hard work.
Hard work, and do whatever you have to do to get money and food into the house. So,
right.
That's.
And you were the first in your family to graduate college, right?
I am.
Wow, that's impressive too.
Yeah.
I mean, so it just goes to show. I mean, you've come from a challenging set of circumstances, but yet this was a great path for you to take, and could be for other young women.
Yes.
And so you're wanting women to know.
It's available.
The automotive industry is a great way to make a great living, and
Yes.
it's a great career path.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's my goal,
Yeah.
really. I would love to see more women in this industry and in this career path. And again, it could be in parts, it could be in service, it could be in sales. We have female service technicians, so you could be turning wrenches, or you could be, selling a car. It's irrelevant. It's just a good business for women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be a great career path.
Absolutely.
They say that women being part of a management team make a company more profitable. I had someone on the show a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about they're actually going out and talking to major corporations about why it's so important to have women on their management team, and that it does impact their profitability. And like I said, you're proof of that in how profitable the Honda of downtown LA is, one of the top in the country. And the reason they say is because women have a bigger picture, like a longer term look.
Sure.
I was wondering if you felt like that's true.
I do. You say, we've come from bottom place in 5 years to top 25, and I always say, but I'm not done yet. It's not where I'm stopping. It's great. It's great. I'm very proud of the
goal
team
is number
that's gotten
one,
us
huh?
here. Yeah, I'm proud of the team that's gotten us here this far, and I hope that the team we have stays together and continues on to 15, 10th, 5th, and number one in the country, and doing it the right way with good people and good customer service and a great product. And
it is a great product.
It is. It really is.
People say
We're
you don't
really
even have to
fortunate.
sell a Honda because like people that are Honda lovers
Yeah.
seem to like they just come
It's
in and
just-
just buy another Honda,
and
because
it
they run
evolves.
forever, right?
They do make a phenomenal product. I'm very blessed and fortunate to work for such a great company. And but it's not stopping. It's not going to be hopefully where we end. And
You're not going to rest on your
not
laurels.
resting on the laurels. That's correct. I'm not known for that.
Well, that's why you are where you are today.
Thank you.
So, what would be your advice to young women about this industry? I mean, I would imagine it's still tough.
Yeah, I mean it's listen, it's not an industry that you can step into lightly. But so we're in LA, so neither is show business, right?
Right.
That's another business that I like in my eyes is
Tough.
my gosh,
Yeah.
tough, right?
Talk about tough, yeah.
It's difficult, and the people that make it because of their perseverance and their desire and their passion and everything that makes them who they are. And I want the women that know that they can do more and be more, know that they have an opportunity to do so in the automotive industry and in the car business, and specifically in my dealership for sure, because we're very big on promoting from within, and we've promoted a tremendous amount of people just in the short 5 years, from porters to salespeople, from salesperson to finance manager, and so on and so forth. And we're always looking for great talent. And I think if you've got good heart and hustle, and you know that you have that in you, and you're a female, you can reach any mountaintop that you want to. So
this is interesting. In case anybody hasn't picked up on your accent, that Southern accent.
y'all.
So you're from Long Island, New York.
I'm Queens, New York. Yes.
Oh, Queens, New
Yep.
York. Okay. And I was just wondering, I mean, you started your career there.
Yes.
It must have been like really kind of culture shock to come to LA. You know,
Well, that would
I
be
moved
an
from New York
understatement,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an understatement. That it was a culture shock. The first 2 years were very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
There's definitely a distinct difference in
There is.
the work-life balance.
Yep.
Between the East Coast and the West Coast, specifically in New York and Los Angeles.
And that means like LA.
There's a lot
more on the
life than work, which is great.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
And you know, as a New Yorker, it's like
nose to the grindstone,
yeah,
right?
and I'm relaxed here in comparison to how I was
So
in
that's
New
a good
York,
thing,
right? Well,
right?
yeah, but you never lose that edge, I don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I've been born and raised in New York, and you know,
And New Yorkers, they tell it like it is.
yeah, that was
Not so much here in LA.
Not so much here.
We won't go there.
Yeah, we won't go there. It was just.
But I'll
it
call
was
you
a
for
learning
lunch,
curve.
you know.
Right? Yeah, sure. Okay. I will hold my breath. No. But it's been a great learning experience. It
Yeah.
really has been some of the best 5 years of my life, and
cool.
And you know, I mean. 80 degrees in December. I'm not crying.
Oh
about,
yeah, I mean
you know?
we are so spoiled here.
So
How could, yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're not really missing that
Yeah.
sub-zero weather in
That's
New York,
correct.
right?
No.
And it's good to move and try another culture. I think I've lived
agree.
in
I agree.
Miami, DC, New York, and here, and I really love experiencing all the different cultures because each city has its own culture for
sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I
it's
agree with
interesting.
you.
Had you not been in this automotive industry, you probably wouldn't have ended up in LA.
Who
what
knows?
a great opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It really, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm very humbled and very grateful to have the path I've had.
If somebody was working at a Honda dealership, let's say they wanted to go that path that you've inspired them today. So they could basically work at any Honda in any city in the country.
I would hope so. I would hope that, you know.
Yeah. Could take that with you.
Most of
that's
the owners.
kind of cool.
Yeah, I would hope so. You know, I would hope most owners are as evolved as mine.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't look at, I think we were chit-chatting about this earlier. We don't look at, is it male? Is it female? Is it black,
Look
white,
at the
purple,
person.
green? It's the person, the
that's
talent
great.
that they bring to the job, and can they execute it?
Right.
And really, can they do the task at hand?
Right.
And the best person for the job. That's it. Period.
Right.
You
That's
know.
great.
But I would like more women
Yes.
in the industry
Yeah.
because I
Hello,
think a
listen
lot
to
more
that.
women
She
could
wants
do
more
the
women.
task at
Did
hand.
you hear that? She wants more women. Go.
Absolutely.
Carolyn Olavarria at Honda of downtown LA. Yeah.
Very much.
So I know you're opening a new facility.
We are, yes.
That's very exciting.
We're very excited. yes.
Multi-million-dollar
Yes.
new facility
Yes.
in downtown LA.
Yeah, we're staying downtown. That's correct.
Tell me a little bit, when is that going to open? And
We're projecting about a year and a half out, you know, in construction.
Yeah.
You never really know once you
Yeah.
start building.
But that'll
what
be here
things
before you
happen.
know
but
it.
yeah, exactly. Time
that'll
flies
be
when you're having
awesome
a good
to
time.
be heading up this beautiful new facility.
Very excited. We're very
Yeah.
excited. And
Right now you're like, though, in a historic
we are.
location, which
Very.
is also cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's got its limitations because it was never built to sell the amount of units that we actually sell.
Such a problem to have.
It's a quality problem.
Yeah.
But it is an issue, right?
Yeah.
With
So
storage
this one will be like
capacity.
twice as big? Or?
Oh, this is going to be. It's going to be
Huge.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be I think half a city block, if I'm not, I don't know
Wow.
exactly. I think 40,000 square feet, something like that.
And there's a
Not-
whole resurgence going on in downtown LA.
yes.
So you guys are kind of helping to revitalize that
We're actually
area.
going to be located across the street from where the Rams are playing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we're going to be directly across the street from the Rams.
That's cool.
And
You're
it
a
is
big
pretty
sports
cool.
fan?
I'm not, but you know, I just for location purposes,
Yeah, that'd
you know,
be neat.
that's a good reference for
Yeah.
people that
Yeah, where it's
that,
gonna
you know,
be.
are
Yeah.
fans. And from what I've seen, just a couple of the home games that they've played, there's definitely Rams fans out
Yeah.
here, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
So I know you said your goal is to, try to help make the neighborhood a better place
For
and,
sure.
and
Yeah,
create
absolutely.
job opportunities.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
great.
I love when I interview people that, they tell me that they live locally or that they're 5 minutes from work. And, it's exciting to me and it's exciting to them because it's a good quality of life to live close to where your job is.
Especially in LA.
And yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I made up my mind when I moved here that I was going to work and live in the same proximity.
Yeah,
because
it's important.
Commuting is tough here.
It is really difficult, but I'm blessed. I have a few members of my team that drive an hour and a half every single day. One way.
There are people that do it.
And it's okay with them, and they're grateful for the opportunity that they have, and they're happy to do it.
Yeah.
So, but that's just another stark difference between the East Coast and the West Coast, right? There's no public transportation reliable really out here that you can use.
Oh, yeah.
And
you're used to it in New York, the transit.
Sure, but it helps us sell a lot of Hondas, so I'm grateful for that.
That's right. Good gas mileage,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
What cars do you guys have coming out? Is there something new and exciting?
The new Civic hatchback is coming.
Is gorgeous.
The new Civic is gorgeous,
really
and the Civic
awesome.
hatchback is coming, which is super, super exciting.
Oh my God, I never even
The Civic
knew that.
SI is coming back. The Ridgeline just came out. The truck relaunched, and it's phenomenal. The Pilot got a redo about a year ago, which is it's probably one of the best, I think, family SUVs out there on the market. Just
great.
Not being biased at all.
Not at all.
But Honda's really knocking it out of the park.
Which one do you drive?
I drive an Accord.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I drive an Accord.
Well, thank you so much for this interview. I think you've inspired a lot of women to think, automotive is a great path to go. It's certainly been good to you.
Absolutely.
And I wish you all the luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm cheering you on to number one.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with the new facility.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it. And just thank you for being on the show and for trailblazing for other women.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to let women know about the opportunity for them.
Right? I know. I'm so happy to have this platform to tell people. Well, thank you so much. We will be right back with Sher Pasquini.
Do you want to have more passion and purpose in your day-to-day? Are you yearning to ignite your power within? Now, more than ever, the world needs women who dream big, inspire others, and are living their greater purpose. There's never been a better time to up your game and make your success happen now. Contact Danny Rukin for a complimentary consultation and find out more about how you can become more effective, energized, and empowered while making a difference in doing what you love. Go to www.dannyrukin.com. The Live, Love, Thrive radio show is produced by 360karma.com. Are you a 360 Karma woman? If so, spread the word. Be sure to follow us on social media at 360 Karma Women on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please like us and share us with family and friends. This is the year of the woman, and we are stronger together. The Live, Love, Thrive program is brought to you in part by Honda of downtown Los Angeles, supporting the equality and empowerment of women. Fans of the Live, Love, Thrive radio show, join us for our Live, Love, Thrive conference in Los Angeles on November 12th, 2016. This will be one of the most dynamic and interactive conferences in the country regarding equal pay and the shift of putting more women into positions of influence. Plus, incredible speakers, music, and life-changing tools to help you find your life purpose and create your legacy. Get your tickets now at www.livelovethriveconference.com. And we are back with Sher Pasquini, who is the head of employee relations for WorldVision International. Welcome, Sher.
Hey, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Oh my gosh, your story is really amazing. I want to first share, before we talk about working for WorldVision, which is the largest NGO, and for people that don't know, that's non-governmental organization, right?
Right.
Not to be confused with GMO. Some people don't know what a NGO is. So anyway, I want to talk about your trajectory to becoming the head of employee relations and investigations for WorldVision. So you had told me as a young kid that you wanted to travel the world.
Right.
And I thought this was fascinating that you created every type of job that you could that would allow you to travel.
Right.
So let's talk about first after deciding you wanted to travel the world, you ventured into hospitality.
Right.
Which was a great way for somebody listening, if they are interested in travel. Hospitality is a wonderful
Oh, absolutely.
industry to go into, right?
Yes,
As a woman?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So first you helped to open Hyatt hotels, right?
Yes.
In Chicago and Atlanta and around the country.
Right. Started at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And I had one of those dreams. I just really wanted to see the world. But I also knew that my parents, they were a lot older. I was born when my parents were 36 and 40.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if I had a feeling I needed to travel the world without paying for it.
I love that.
So first, at around 17 years old, I just applied for Hyatt Hotel, and I started working for them, and I ended up getting obsessed about the business. And the one thing that I always tell people is you're not going to get anywhere if you do things, through mediocrity. You really have to stand out. And I thought to myself when I was in the hospitality industry, how am I going to stand out?
Right.
With, 700 employees working in this building. Yeah. So I thought, the comment card. So as I was working the front desk and I kept saying, did you enjoy your survey? Here, fill this out. And my name kept popping up.
Oh.
And then the next thing I know is I
that
won.
was smart.
The next thing I knew, I won, Employee of the Quarter and, and Employee of the Month. And so there, people started saying, who is that girl?
Yeah.
So,
that
and
was smart.
it's really important to find a way to stand out.
Right.
And so I spent a lot of years in the hospitality industry.
So you said from like 17 to 27 or something
17
like
to 27, absolutely. And opening up Hyatts in Phoenix, Minneapolis, Palm Beach, Baltimore,
Right.
Atlanta, the addition to the Hyatt Regency Atlanta. Yeah, so it was
And
fun.
then before you got into the cruise business, you took a little detour when you got here to LA, right? And worked for a agent, right?
Well,
in the entertainment industry.
Absolutely. And, the one thing...
That sounded like a lot of fun.
Oh, well, it was. And I have to tell you...
I would love for you to tell people how you got that job. It's hilarious.
Well, okay. Well, what's really funny, I always look at my life as, when I was a young girl, I looked at it as just a book.
Yeah.
With blank pages.
Right.
And every chapter I wanted to write because
Yeah.
I wanted to create an adventure and
Yeah.
I wanted to create my life.
Yeah.
So after 10 years of opening up hotels, working 20 hours a day, I thought, okay, I met an actress that we became very good friends. She was, why don't you move to L.A.? And so I ended up moving to L.A. and living in her guest house. And I thought, I've got to change. I have to change something for a while. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I had a creative side to me,
Yeah.
a little writing side to me. So I thought, well, let me come to LA. And how I ended up getting a job, and I was walking down Sunset Boulevard just handing out all my resumes. And I thought, and there was one particular agent that she was screaming at her assistant, and they're both screaming at each other. And so she goes, what do you want? And I'm like, well, I was looking for a job. And so the next thing I know, she said, well, I just fired her. You're hired. So that's how I ended up getting
That's how you end up working at an agency.
At a small
You happen to
agency.
be in the right place at the right time, walking in off the street, right?
Exactly.
funny.
It was, one of those stories.
Who knew you could work for an agent just by walking Sunset Boulevard? You go, Cher.
So then after that, it was, again, it's taking your experience and
But
again,
wait a minute. From
oh,
there,
sorry.
you went and worked for CT, one of the major agencies, right?
Yeah, a matter of fact, ICM.
ICM,
Yeah,
right.
a matter of fact, I took a jump. Well, actually, I left that particular agency and started working at Universal, the producers building for
Yeah.
Martin Bregman and Lou Stroller. And of course, I was, a hospitality person, so I was an assistant manager. I was a rooms exec with Hyatt Hotel Corporation, and I wasn't really used to this industry and how fast that they talked, and so it was. Lou Stroller would always, use his what was it back in the day? It was
The speakerphone.
the speakerphone.
Yeah, intercom.
But he would always eat a banana first and then tell me what to do. And he thought I was deaf half the time. So he's like,
didn't know what he was saying.
because I didn't know what he was saying. I'd always look at the other. I said, "What did he say?" I go, "Lou, can you repeat that?" And,
It was because he was eating a banana.
He always put a banana in his mouth before he would tell me to do something.
So needless to say, the entertainment industry was very
Well, it was
entertaining.
It was entertaining, and then I ended up going to ICM and working as an assistant on a real good floor, and it was
Right.
just amazing, the people that I would be riding up and down the elevators with,
Yeah.
and it was just one of those.
Well, for people that don't know, ICM is one of the top agencies
Right.
for celebrities.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
have William Morris, ICM, and CAA.
Right.
And again,
So this was your little detour
Right.
once you got to LA. But
Absolutely.
then you ended up back in hospitality.
Absolutely. I thought
in
this
the
was
cruise
fun.
industry, right?
Well, actually, I ended up in hospitality, and then right before 9/11, I was hired for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. And being that I had, well, actually, I think we're skipping a couple of things. I think, oh, wait a minute. I ended up going to South Korea. I ended up, remember, the next stop was I was sending out my resumes because I realized that the
wanted to get
entertainment
back to travel.
right, and
Yeah.
and all of a sudden there was a job. It was hospitality, and the one thing I
I
want
think
to
we have a picture of the hotel.
Yeah,
It
the
was
hotel.
the Dragonfly Hotel.
It was the Dragon Hill Hotel.
Dragon Hill
And it
Hotel.
was United Nations Command in Seoul, South Korea. And this is what I want to tell, people out there. Whenever you get an interview as a human resource professional, go on the interview. If you think you don't like it, you go. And so it happened to be a hotel that was advertised in Seoul, South Korea. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to just send my resume. It was really
See, I wouldn't want to go live in Korea.
I didn't want to go either.
But,
I didn't want to go either.
because I'm like really impressed that you went and lived there.
No,
you know?
what was really funny is,
Yeah.
this is what came out of it. I thought I was applying for a hotel, and I was just kind of like, well, it was one of those days.
Oh, you
that-
didn't know it was in Korea?
Well, I knew it was in Korea, but I didn't know it was the United Nations Command for the Department of Defense.
Oh, my
And they
gosh.
run hotels around the world.
Right.
So it wasn't until I went on that interview up in Seattle, Washington, did I know that it was the United Nations Command.
Right.
And then I ended up flying my second interview to Hawaii to meet the full bird colonel, and I got the job.
Yeah.
And then they flew me to
Now, the reason you
Korea.
were telling me you got the job, it's like life is a puzzle, and each
Right.
thing you do leads to the next thing.
Absolutely.
So that kind of gave you some military experience working for the UN,
Yes.
right? Which
Well,
then kind of led you to the next thing.
Right, it was the Department of the Army. And so what happened with Royal Caribbean, then when I spent 4 years working in Seoul, South Korea, which was an amazing experience.
Wow, 4
And
years.
4 years, and it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then
You love the people and
Loved the people.
Yeah.
Just traveled around the world. Traveled to Thailand, and I think there's a picture
of you with the monkey in
yeah,
Thailand.
exactly. Me
Yeah.
in Thailand, and then of course in Korea. I was telling you about that experience. I was only there like a couple of weeks when the full bird colonel said, "Well, take somebody up to the DMZ, which is the border of North and South Korea."
Wow.
On going into the Armistice building, which is you're literally walking into North Korea and coming back out.
And that's these pictures we have of you by the tunnels. in
Right, by
North
the
Korea?
tunnels, and those are the North Korean tunnels. And what happened is we went into one of these tunnels, and one of the employees ended up having a heart attack.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I was giving him, I was the highest ranking official there at the time, so I was giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And I was only there 2 weeks, so it was it was one of those things. So then when I left Korea after 4 years, that's when I was hired for Royal Caribbean because of the fact that I had the military side. I understood the military side, which is the Marine side of the ship, and the hospitality side of the ship.
Right.
And
you were telling me you started like an HR program for the cruise industry.
Yes, yes. Most of the staff captains, well, all of the staff captains on the ships from Princess to Carnival to Royal Caribbean. They were doing the human resource side. And it just became, they just really didn't know human resources, so it became a problem for the cruise lines. So I piloted this program.
Wow.
And we ended up hiring other HR directors. And that's another area that people should look in, is being, if they are in HR, is working for HR on board cruise lines. It's a
Wow,
great,
that sounds like fun.
and you're an officer on
Yeah.
board, so you get a one-bedroom suite. And
So you
it's
get to
great.
travel all over on the cruise ships too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was a lot of fun. You get to know a lot of people on board the ship, and people always joke to you. They go, "Is this really a job for you?" I'm like, "No, it's so much fun."
Is it? Was it so much fun?
Oh, it was really
Yeah.
nice. When I again around 9/11, all the ships were stuck around the world, and I think one of the fondest memories I have is the Thanksgiving right after 9/11, where when you have a ship that holds about three. It was the Radiance of the Seas that I was working in, and also the Adventure of the Seas, and I happened to be on the Radiance when there's these grand stairwells in the dining room, where on Thanksgiving, and you have people from all over the world working as servers, and from Croatia, all over. So all of a sudden, during the Thanksgiving dinner, they came marching down, singing "God Bless America," holding the American flag. And there wasn't a dry eye on the ship. So that's one of my fondest memories. And of course,
Beautiful.
the travel is always great, docking in Aruba.
So, yeah, that's nice. So, fast forward, you've traveled all over with these various opportunities, and now you end up at WorldVision
Right.
as the head of employee relations for more than 46,000 people around the globe.
Right.
And I should say employee relations and investigations.
It's global employee relations, yeah.
Right.
46,000.
And so tell us about, first of all, tell people what WorldVision is, those who don't know about it.
Oh my God, it's an amazing, it's an amazing organization. It's been around since 1950, and a reverend started it back then. His name was Bob Pierce, and how he started it started with the sponsorship end of it, sponsoring kids. And he was in China, and there was an orphan, and this one particular woman that he knew said, how am I going to take care of this child? And he said, well, I'll send money every month. And that's how he started WorldVision. Well, WorldVision, X amount of years later, is now the largest provider of water around the world.
Wow.
We have 110 offices worldwide. We also have the emergency humanitarian end of it, where we handle about 80 disasters a year, which, of course, we're in the U.S. right now in Louisiana. We're in Italy with the earthquake.
Yeah, so WorldVision, people don't realize they also supply things here in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Because you said 22% of children are in poverty.
Right,
So
absolutely. And so school supplies, coats, if they need, tuition assistance, we supply that.
Wow,
and
that's
it's
great.
WVUS that does a great job here in the United States.
And you were saying, even though this is a Christian-based organization, they help everyone, Muslims and
Everywhere.
and all kinds of people
Everywhere.
in Jerusalem and
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're all
That's
over the
great.
world.
I mean, that's the way it should be. It
Absolutely.
Should be, I mean, people are people.
Absolutely.
So that's
we do a
wonderful.
really great job with our families. Again, we have also microfinancing. And again, microfinancing is the Vision Fund end of WorldVision, where we supply, if there's a woman who started, she was like a little noodle maker for the community. So again, we provided a loan, and she made more noodles to help the community and sustain the community. So now she has her own little noodle business through microfinancing with WorldVision, where
Oh,
they
my
get
gosh.
and. About 99% of the women repay their loans. They're really good at it around the world. So we
Yeah.
have that end. And of course,
Is it just women they microfinance?
no, men too, but they don't pay it back as quickly. So, but
No comment.
I know, but they do a great job. They do a great job. And also we have our ADPs around the world, and of course it's the area development projects that we have, where we go into. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wanted you to tell everybody about being in Afghanistan and Syria, and how I mean, you have a very dangerous job at times. So I know we have a picture of you with the soldiers in Afghanistan.
Yes. That was actually with the previous company that I worked for. It was PAE, a Lockheed Martin company.
Oh, right.
And prior to going into WorldVision, I worked internationally as the corporate director of human resources. And we ran a lot of the American embassies around the world as far as operation and maintenance. We took over military bases because, at the time there was the Iraq War and they were running out of people because as far as they need to pull military folks off of operation and maintenance and put them into Iraq. So anyway, that was one of my trips to Afghanistan, to Kabul. We were running the American embassy and building some airports there. And so I went there, and I remember security showing me a picture of, there was a suicide bomber. The most dangerous street in the world is Jalalabad in Afghanistan. And so he showed me a picture of a suicide bombing about a week before I arrived there. I go, thank you very much.
Oh, my gosh.
But we ended up taking that same street. And what's really dangerous is, again, there were a lot of kids running after our vehicle with backpacks. So
Right.
you have to be very careful because you don't know if somebody put a bomb in one of their backpacks.
my gosh.
Unfortunately, that happens to children.
Wow. And then you were telling me about, being shot at in helicopters.
Yeah,
and
that
stuff.
was actually when, again, with Lockheed, I went to Darfur, and Darfur, it's where they had the ethnic cleansing going on. I think about 1 million people were killed there. And so we were working and building camps for the African Union there. So I was in a Russian helicopter flying when they started taking pot shots at the helicopter. And
Oh, my gosh. Were you scared?
I was a little scared, that's for sure. And the one thing that I do want to share with you is there's millions of humanitarian workers around the world. And, unlike the military, they're trained. They're trained.
Yeah.
You have millions of and I don't think they get the credit that they deserve worldwide.
Right.
Because they're in harm's way
Yeah.
all the time.
So all these people that are employees of World Vision that you oversee, these are humanitarian people that are, just wanting to do good, but
Right.
they're putting their life on the line.
Absolutely. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
And so because you're also in charge of investigations, I know you tell me sometimes you'll get a text of something happening, whether it could be a rape or a murder or things like this, and it's your job to make sure that something's done about that. And I understand that when you took over these 100 and some offices, when something like that would happen, nothing was happening in real time, and you created a program that integrated so that it's integrated, so that everything is in real time. So no matter what happens in one of those offices, whatever it is, you're made aware of it right away, so you can handle it.
Well, absolutely. I think one thing about World Vision, not only do we care for our families around the world and our children, but it's really important for us to care for our employees because they care for the families and the children around the world.
Right.
So what we did is about 9 years ago when I arrived, we did not have an employee relations department. And what we did is, and most organizations around the world have separate and isolated systems like a security system and a child protection system and a human resource system. We call human resources PNC, people and culture. You have, also finance as well as far as theft. But what we did is we integrated everyone into one system.
Right.
So now across the world in 110 countries, if there is a code red, which is, let's say, an employee got in an accident and it was a fatality, code red, immediate notification, they go in, fill an electronic form, and everyone at the same time now is able to see that report in their cell phone, in their laptop, and we can communicate to the reporter of this incident and either provide guidance or they're telling us what they're doing on the ground.
Right. It seems like that would be important
Absolutely, absolutely. And the one thing, we do have staff care, and it's probably one of the best staff cares in any organization I've ever worked, and it's headed by a gentleman by the name of Michael Hagenauer. And again, if there's an employee that was in a car accident, he was a passenger or she was a passenger, and it was really stressful, there's counselors to talk to, psychosocial support. Everything. We're really good with that around the world. Yeah,
That's great. That's great that you implemented that. I know you're.
Well, it took a village,
Yeah.
so it's all the
Yeah.
functional departments
Right.
working together to make that happen. So I'm really, really proud of that system.
Right. It sounds like you love working for World Vision.
Absolutely. And, the one thing that I believe, anyone, my dream was to travel the world.
Yeah.
But
and
the
I love
one,
how you manifested that
And
in
I-
every way, from the hotels to the cruise industry to Lockheed Martin to now World Vision. I
Absolutely.
think any young woman could sit here and be inspired by the fact that, maybe they want to see the world and, hey, here's a way to do it. It wasn't like you had the means or whatever. You just manifested it, and that's really cool.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing that I've always wanted to do with myself is to learn to be a better person. And through travel, just as far as you just grow and develop. Again, when you're really American-centric, and the one thing that I do want to talk about is we are becoming a global world, global trade. And there are other people from other countries working in the United States. We're working in other countries as well. And human resources in the United States is state and federal laws. But globally, it's really an exciting industry as far as human resource globally, because it's a little bit more complicated because you've got the local laws. You have also international laws. If you are a California company, the California laws that will follow you in. Then you have Sharia law as well in some countries. And like a sexual harassment here in the United States, if it's investigated and and it's substantiated, you are terminated from the job. But across the world, there are countries that it's a criminal offense.
Right.
So
the Syrian law, right?
Sharia law. If
Sharia
you
law.
have Sharia law, if you are if there's a sexual harassment, we have to fly people out right away because they may get killed if they're accused of sexual harassment.
Wow.
If you have a sexual harassment in a lot of countries, it could be a criminal offense, and that employee could be locked up for a couple of years.
Right.
So it's a lot different.
Much
it's
more
a
intense.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
It's a lot more intense, but it's something that people. And the one thing, if you're living in California, you speak English and Spanish already.
Yeah.
And you just add a little bit of French to learning French.
Yeah.
You can work for the United Nations.
Right.
They have jobs all over the world. You can work for, of course, World Vision as well.
Right.
You have Oxfam and
What if Pig Latin?
Well, that's what I know.
Just end on that note.
But anyways, there's a lot of job opportunities in
Yes.
human resources with NGOs, humanitarian organizations, and of course, look online for the United Nations as well. Great opportunities as
Right.
well.
And they can look at worldvision.org to
Yes,
find
and
jobs
if
there.
you want to know more about human resources, go to sherm.org or pyra.com.
It sounds
It's all there.
like HR has been a great path for you.
It has, and
Yeah.
I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
Well, thank you for being on the show.
Well,
and
thank
thank you
you.
for sharing
Thank you,
about your
Catherine.
world travels.
Yes,
I
yes.
wish we had more time because I know it's amazing all the places that you've been.
Oh, and I can tell you about Bangladesh, all sorts of things.
Thank you, Cher.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week on UBN Radio, Wednesdays at noon. And just make it a great week. Live, love, and thrive. And hugs and happiness.
Do you want to have more passion and purpose in your day-to-day? Are you yearning to ignite your power within? Now, more than ever, the world needs women who dream big, inspire others, and are living their greater purpose. There's never been a better time to up your game and make your success happen now. Contact Danny Rukin for a complimentary consultation and find out more about how you can become more effective, energized, and empowered while making a difference in doing what you love. go to www.dannyrukin.com. The Live, Love, Thrive program is brought to you in part by Honda of downtown Los Angeles, supporting the equality and empowerment of women. The Live, Love, Thrive radio show is produced by 360karma.com. Are you a 360 Karma woman? If so, spread the word. Be sure to follow us on social media at 360 Karma Women on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please like us and share us with family and friends. This is the year of the woman, and we are stronger together. Fans of the Live, Love, Thrive radio show, join us for our Live, Love, Thrive conference in Los Angeles on November 12th, 2016. This will be one of the most dynamic and interactive conferences in the country regarding equal pay and the shift of putting more women into positions of influence. Plus, incredible speakers, music, and life-changing tools to help you find your life purpose and create your legacy. Get your tickets now at www.livelovethriveconference.com.